Hi, welcome to this breath class. This is a 30-minute practice in which we're going to explore the very important topic of diaphragmatic breathing. So during these 30 minutes, you're going to understand the difference between belly breathing and diaphragmatic breathing. The latter being an important practice to breathe efficiently and find relaxation, relieve stress, and it's really great for your overall well-being. You can practice in a comfortable supine position. You can choose to practice on a yoga mat on the floor or also position yourself in a bed. But find a position which is extremely comfortable for you. This will begin with a simple exercise of grounding. Then we'll do some exploration on properly engaging diaphragmatic breathing. We'll breathe together for a few minutes in a connected fashion, and then we'll slowly come out of this practice. Remember, this practice is for deep relaxation. At any point, if you feel uncomfortable, feel free to pause, feel free to adjust, or feel free to come out of this practice. Having said that, be present. This practice is a dialogue between your breath and your body. I encourage you to use headsets and just set aside the next 30 to 35 minutes to complete this practice. Enjoy. All right. So welcome to tonight's class. As we always do, we start on our back. So find the most comfortable supine posture. For me, it's on the floor on my yoga mat with a pillow under my knees, pillow under my head, and I usually like to cover myself with a light blanket or a light sheet. And as you find yourself comfortably relaxing in this posture, take a moment to feel the physical connection of the body with the ground, with the earth supporting you. So notice if the back of the heels are touching. Maybe they are not. If they are on a pillow, they may be lifted. But if your feet are flat on the floor, notice all the parts of your feet, of your legs, that are touching the ground. Feel the hips and the back connecting with the earth. Begin to feel the mid back and the upper back pressing against the ground. Maybe your elbow, the back of your lower arms. If your hands are to the sides, palms flipped up, notice the back of your hands pressing against the floor. Now from here on, I want you to just notice the parts that are not touching the floor. So the front of the entire body, the sides of the entire body, starting from your feet. So doing that scan from your toes to your ankles, to your lower legs, your knees, your upper legs, and your belly, your chest, the front of your arms, your palms, the front of your neck, your face. If you're not already, slowly begin to close your eyes. And you're going to begin the process of introspection by focusing on the breath. This class is literally a dialogue between the breath, the body. So begin to notice the natural rhythm of the incoming breath. Without changing it, notice where are you breathing right now. Is the breath predominantly in the chest? Or is there a subtle movement in your belly? Does your breath feel deep? Or does it feel shallow? Again, not changing it, just witness. Is your breath calm and smooth? Meaning, is there a nice inflow and outflow of the breath? Or does it feel choppy, like stopping and going? Do you notice any resistance? If you now take a slow, deep breath in, breathe in. As you continue to fill, do you feel resistance anywhere in the in-breath? Pay special attention when you're reaching the top of the inhalation. Do it again. Take a slow, conscious, deep breath in and watch, is it coming smoothly or do you feel resistance somewhere? We'll do this process 3 more times, just subtle awareness. Have this dialogue with the breath. And what you're looking for is any signs of resistance. After that third breath, let that practice go away. If you did find resistance, acknowledge it, notice it, and then leave it aside. If you didn't, great. Continue with the practice. I want you to notice this subtle difference between belly breathing and diaphragmatic breathing. So if I tell you to take the next deep breath in to your belly, what does that do to your body? Again, be in this dialogue with the breath. Take the next deep breath into your belly and notice what happens. Do it again, 2 more times. After you exhale, breathe into your belly. Most likely you feel the belly rise and expand. As you take the next breath into the belly, notice the rise of the belly, but also notice what's happening to the other parts. Is there any movement in the chest or the rib cage? After that third exhale, let it go. Now, let's understand the proper diaphragmatic breathing. This is required. This is really essential for breathing freely without exerting too much energy. So I want you to, with your mind's eye, begin to visualize the diaphragm that sits right below the rib cage and separates our lungs, our thoracic cavity, with our abdominal cavity. So it's that partition between the upper floor and the ground floor. Visualize this dome-shaped, parachute-shaped muscle that is sitting right below the rib cage. It goes from the front of the body, connects back to the spine, creating a perfect seal between our chest cavity and our abdominal cavity. Once you have your awareness and attention to this parachute-shaped muscle, on the next in-breath, I invite you to intentionally pull the diaphragm down. Begin to slowly pull the diaphragm down, and as you do so, you're going to take the in-breath. Your rib cage are going to expand. Your lungs are going to fill. You will notice your belly gently push out. And then you fill in as much as you can. And when you're ready to exhale, I want you to intentionally release the diaphragm. Don't just let go. Slowly release the diaphragm. And its tendency is to go back to its relaxed, dome-shaped posture. That will create the exhale. Nice. Now we're going to do this again with your mind's eye. Visualize the diaphragm. Intentionally begin to pull the diaphragm down nice and easy. And when you do that, you're going to notice this three-dimensional expansion happening. Your ribs are lifting, the ribs are moving, your sternum is moving up, ribs to the side, belly being pushed out, even feeling now your mid-back expanding. And then as you release, don't just let go, intentionally release the diaphragm. Slowly pushing the breath out. Now we're going to continue with this slow, intentional practice, and I want you to notice all the opening, all the movements that are happening with this breath. Again, intentionally pull the diaphragm down as you begin to breathe in. Noticing the lower ribs expanding, the belly moving out, the chest rising up. Even notice the collarbones separating and pressing the floor underneath. Notice the gentle, very gentle pull of the shoulders, not too much, very small, at the top of the in-breath. And when you're ready to exhale, you know what to do. Very slowly, intentionally, let the diaphragm go. Good. Hopefully you're finding that rhythm and finding the deep expansion that happens with this breath. This is the proper three-part breathing. Again, keep going. Feel the diaphragm, intentionally pulling it down as you breathe in. And then intentionally releasing it back as you breathe out. And try to squeeze all the air out as you continue to pull the diaphragm up. You're exercising this very important muscle. And when you're ready to breathe in, relax. And then intentionally pull the diaphragm back down. And intentionally release. Relax, breathe in. and intentionally breathe out. Keep going. Few more breaths. Keep that active engagement of the diaphragm just for a few more breaths. I know it's difficult. Keep going. Intentionally contracting the diaphragm down. So breathe in. Then intentionally relaxing the diaphragm to breathe out. Now, very slowly, this is going to be subtle. Take your awareness away from the work of pulling the diaphragm down and releasing the diaphragm to lift it back up. Instead, shift the focus to just the breathing now. So you are breathing in and you're breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Continue to relax the body. Breathe in. Let go of any tension in your muscles. Breathe out. Let the body become heavy as you breathe out. Let it go. Breathe in again. Let your body melt as you breathe out. Again, breathe in. And breathe out. If it feels right for you, begin to pick up the pace just a little bit. So you're going to breathe in still deeply, but a little bit faster. Try to fill a little faster than that slow breath. And then try to empty out a little faster. And make sure that you're completely emptying out. I want you to notice what happens when you pick up the pace of the breath. And yet you want to fill in the same capacity. Try that. Try to change the rhythm and the pace of the breath for a few more rounds. Keep your awareness to the breathing. Continue to breathe. And let's come back to this dialogue between the breath and the body. As you breathe this way, what do you feel? Are you sensing any resistance? Is there freedom in this breath? Just have that dialogue with the breath. Understand where it is. Yet you continue to breathe. Do not change it. Just watch the pattern. As you breathe, notice what is happening at the pelvic floor. As you breathe in and as you breathe out. Next, check the low back. What is happening right at the tailbone in the sacrum area as you breathe in and then as you breathe out. In particular, I want you to check if you're holding tension there. If you just let go even 10%, what happens? %, softening of the tailbone, 10% softening of the sacrum, of the pelvic floor. Now check the mid-back and the belly. What can you consciously do to find more freedom in the mid-back and the belly? That will manifest as opening or expansion when you breathe. That will manifest as warmth if you just let go. And these are just 10%, right? Just 10% softening. Now to the chest and the upper back. Shoulders. 10% softening of the shoulders can do magic. You'll feel light. You'll feel the breath in the upper body. What's happening in the neck and the throat. As you breathe, don't stop breathing. Deep, slow breaths. If you're continuing with the slightly faster pace, that's okay too. Ask yourself right now, this dialogue with the breath and the body. Am I holding the jaw, especially the lower jaw? I'm having 10% softness to my lower jaw. Does that open the airways right behind the mouth? How about the nostrils? What can you do to soften the nostrils? I think this is the first time I'm asking anybody to do that. I don't know if it's even possible, but check. Do we ever hold tension in our nasal passage? How about the face? Bringing 10% more softness to the face. Next, notice the eyes. And yes, you can bring 10% softness to your closed eyes. Notice when you do that, what happens to your forehead, what happens in your eyebrows, your third eye. Now go back to the breath. Again, this complete container of the breath all the way from the pelvic floor to the space between the eyebrows. Finding yourself in total stillness. The breath happening on its own. Your body is breathing on its own, and its body is breathing properly on its own. If you go check, you may find the breath to be a bit shallow, yet notice that it's comfortably operating underneath. Be present to this infinite, dark, empty space behind the closed eyes. Be present to the coolness of the breath as you breathe it in. Be present to the warmness of the breath as you breathe it out. I invite you to make small movements now with your body. So maybe turn the head very gently from side to side. Begin to move your fingers, your toes. And then your wrists, your ankles. Slowly begin to move your legs, gently wiggling them side to side. From there, begin to bend the knees and choose to turn to whichever side you feel like into a fetal position. And this is where I will leave you for tonight's practice. And I want you to stay here for as long as your body needs. Whatever time, how much ever time you need, you take it. I'm glad to have you on this practice, and I hope to see you back next week. Be well.